What the heck is resistance wire? Why is there Kanthal, Nichrome, and Ni-200? What's the difference between Kanthal A1 and Kanthal D? Let's cover that. So today's Vaping Fast, and our topic's obviously resistance wire. So Kanthal is one of the most commonly used resistance wires currently in existence in the vape market. The reason why is because it's easy to use. When you heat it up, it doesn't pop like other materials do, and it comes in different grades. So there's Kanthal A1, which is my personal preference. It doesn't give me a burnt metallic taste whenever I'm vaping it, and it's easy to work with. I know all of my resistances. I know that I can wrap a certain number of coils around a certain screwdriver and know exactly what that ohms out to just because I've done it 1,526 times. I just made that number up. Kanthal D, on the other hand, is something I haven't personally worked with much. I've only used Kanthal D once, and it gave me a very metallic taste that I wasn't very fond of, so I immediately switched back to Kanthal A1. So my personal preference is Kanthal A1, and I use it in my series box mod. I do ohm builds of like 0.5 to 0.8 using 24 gauge Kanthal, and when it's running on a series box mod, it's got 8.4 volts going through it. When you fire it, you're getting right around that 130, 170 range, somewhere in there, depending on how many wraps I did that day. Now, Kanthal D, you don't want the D. I prefer Kanthal A1. If a shop has Kanthal A1 or Kanthal D, I always prefer going for the Kanthal A1, but you might find something else in your own experience. Your mileage may vary. Going to Nichrome. Nichrome is a much lower resistance wire. As far as wraps go, when you wrap the equal amount of coils with the exact same gauge around the same screwdriver with Kanthal A1 and Nichrome, the Nichrome is going to ohm out almost half of the resistance of the Kanthal. And that's really good in mechanical mods when you don't have all that power behind them like you do in a series box mod or something that can go over 100 watts. If you're using a 100 watt device or less, I definitely recommend using Nichrome. The reason why, it heats up faster, you get a much hotter vape, and you can get quite a bit of surface area. And it's all about the surface area game. I don't care what your game is, whether you're a cloud chaser or flavor chaser. When you're making a coil, the amount of surface area directly corresponds to the amount of vapor going through your RDA. So, I suggest using Nichrome on mechanical mods. Now, what about Ni-200? Well, Ni-200 stands for nickel 200, and that's just an alloy of nickel that is very, very, very low resistance. When I say low resistance, I mean low resistance. I'm talking running through space. Let's call Kanthal a swimming pool. And now we just filled this swimming pool full of maple syrup. That's what Kanthal's like. When you're using nickel 200, it's like jumping into the swimming pool and hitting the bottom because there's nothing there. Nickel 200 takes around 15 wraps of 26 gauge around a 3mm screwdriver to get you to 0.1 ohms. And the reason why I was aiming for 0.1 ohms is because the DNA 40 chip is temperature controlled and it senses the nickel wire and can tell, depending on how hot the coil is, how much resistance is going through it, and turn itself on and off repeatedly billions of times a second in order to keep that temperature right in the optimal range. Nickel wire has to be built from 0.1 ohms all the way up to 1 ohm and anywhere in between, and it's really hard to get that. But you do have massive surface area when you do that. And what's really nice about that, temperature control is awesome. It brings out flavors that you never noticed in juice before. But I do want to warn you guys to make sure that you're practicing safe vaping. Definitely check out all the safety that you can find on nickel wire. Because nickel wire is actually dangerous in itself when heated past a certain temperature. Now, what's really nice about it is with temperature control boards, you're not heating it up past that point. But definitely don't use nickel wire for a normal build. Don't put it on a series box. Don't put it on a mechanical mod. You only use it if you know what you're doing. So to sum things up, I would definitely recommend Kanthal A1 for any build on any device whatsoever. I highly recommend it for devices that go over 100 watts. As far as Nichrome goes, you can use Nichrome for mechanical mods, and that's the only thing I would suggest it. Because those guys, they need every single ounce of energy they can get out of that battery, and Nichrome wire makes it easy for them. Nickel wire, only use it if you know what you're doing. So guys, if you like this video, like it. Dislike it if you didn't. Leave a comment down in the comment section below if you have any suggestions or recommendations for this channel. And if you haven't subscribed. Thanks for watching Vaping Fast. Saturday we're going to have another episode. It's going to be the difference between propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin, which are also known as PG and VG. So definitely stay tuned for that. This has been Vaping Fast. I'm your host, Reggie. Keep calm and vape on.